What's up, guys? This is Ben, and I am about to go on a podcast with Jared Robinson, who is the creator of the PE Geek website and also Connected PE. Thought you might want to get a little behind the scenes. Welcome to my humble office, aka a closet with a computer in it. Well, if you would like to check the podcast out, I'm going to put a few links below, and hope you enjoy it. I think it'll be a great conversation. Catch you guys later.
Anyway, so, I'm not sure if he's read the basic outline of some of the stuff that we might talk about.
I looked at the, what kind of questions thing.
Yeah.
Does this mic sound pretty good?
Yeah, man, it's fine. Yeah.
Cool.
Obviously, the focus is on tech, but I want to sort of capture just general stuff that you've done along the way and then also do a bit of a call to action for people at the end for your site. So, where they can go, or if you've got a special link for traffic for this, then, feel free to shout that out. So
I'll just tell people to go look at the Phys Ed Hacks. That's probably one of my
sweet
most valuable blog posts. So.
Yeah, well, send them to that, and that's a good idea. And but this will be January 6th.
Sweet, man.
Episode.
Awesome. I got my behind the scenes camera going, so we'll see if the audio comes in and everything, and I'll put it up on my YouTube channel whenever it comes out.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, let's go hit record.
You're so polished, man. Everything's always so perfect.
How do you do that? It's called editing. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 74 of the PE Geek podcast. And as always, it's an absolute pleasure to be here now. My favorite episodes are those in which we get to interview phys ed teachers out there in the wild doing good things. And it's my absolute pleasure to welcome to the show Ben Landers. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's welcome. It's definitely someone that I've followed very intently over the last couple of years since we met in North Carolina. When was that? August in 2015?
That's 2015. Yeah, man, that was really, really cool.
Yeah, it definitely was for the National PE Institute.
And the idea is anytime kids have a problem, before they come and talk to me about it, they have to go try to resolve it on their own. And they just go over to the conflict corner, and then they go through the steps of conflict resolution. And it's been really, really, really helpful for me because as an elementary teacher, you're just dealing with so much tattletaling. Yeah. So it's a nice little filter to kind of help filter out the problems that aren't really a big deal. Yeah. And Joey redesigned it and put it up on his website as well, which is really cool.
Excellent. Yeah, no, it was just a brilliant, eye-opening example of a framework that really sort of brought about a massive result. Because you're right, most of those things that we tend to react to aren't that important. They might seem important for the kids, but they can work them out with a cool framework. So I thought it was brilliant. So, obviously you've got this, keen interest in our profession. Where did that grow for you? Where did you end up in the phys ed classroom? Was it always something that you had in mind, or it just came later in life?
I kind of fell into it in college. I always enjoyed PE class as a kid, but I went into school as a business major just because my mind is kind of bent that way. And I, after one semester of college, just decided that it was just mostly common sense. I felt like I was just wasting my money. I was like, I can just go start a business without knowing and taking all these classes. So I kind of wanted to find something that would actually require a degree to do. And then I just took a couple classes, and when I got into the schools and started hanging out with the kids, I was like, oh man, this is where it's at. This is awesome. So right. I just fell into it and really fell in love with it. There's
just so many different paths to get to education, really, isn't there? There's no direct one way that tends to happen. And I think that appeal is quite powerful when you finally get into a class and see the kids and see them engage in your lesson, and it's pretty addicting.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be honest, when I switched my major, one of my thoughts in the back of my mind was, if I don't like teaching, at least I'll have the summers off to figure out what I really want to do. So I'm glad that wasn't the case. I'm glad that I really do like teaching, but it is nice to have that school schedule as well. I think it's really healthy.
Yeah, I think so. Being able to switch between some different projects, and that's really appropriate for you. Has tech played a role in your classes over the last few years?
Yeah, for sure. And I could talk about, there's tons of little apps that you can use, and you've talked about them before on your website. One of the biggest things I use is the Google Drive suite. Just like Google Drive is my best friend. It's I use Google Photos. This year is the first year I've really taken advantage of Google Photos. And what I do with that is, if you're not familiar with it, if you have Google Gmail, then you have a Google Photos account, and you can download the app on your device, and it backs up every picture and video that you take totally free to the cloud. And so one thing that I do with Google Photos is once a week I try to put my iPad and a GoPro on a tripod, and I just record with both of them. And then since it's on my iPad, it backs up to Google Photos, and then I just have a log of like every lesson that I've taught over the whole year, and I just organize those in little folders at the end of each week, so that at the end of the year, when I'm teaching that again the next year, I can go back and kind of review it. And it's just a great way to reflect. And when you're thinking about like, how did I set that game up last time? Like, I can't remember. Oh yeah, I have a panoramic of my setup on my Google Drive. It's a really helpful tool.
Yeah, excellent. So, I mean, that's a great way to capture what's happening in a class, isn't it? Because I think a lot of the time we try and remember things like this, but we've only got a limited capacity for that. And being able to store it somehow so we can reflect on it or see it again next year, I think would be quite powerful.
So since this is a behind-the-scenes video, just had to interject. I'm editing this video, and all I can hear is my 2.5-year-old screaming in the background. I don't know if you heard that in that last segment. I think my camera actually picked it up more, hopefully more than the computer. But I'm like doing this international podcast to Australia with Jared, and all I can hear is my daughter screaming for my wife in the background. So just in case you were wondering how I really do things over here at thepespecialist.com, it's a little real talk for you. Just a little interesting side note for you. Let's get back to our regularly scheduled behind the scenes podcast interview. Most of the time I don't really like to rely on internet, so what I do normally is just download the videos that I'm going to use for the lesson, and I put them on a USB drive, and then I plug those into my DVD player, which is hooked up to my TV. And then it's like 2 seconds, I turn it on, and the videos are all in different folders, and so I don't ever have to worry about internet, which is really nice.
Sure. And that's a common reason, like, why a lot of people sort of get stuck in this practice of, not having reliable internet, and there are ways around it, like you mentioned. So I'd imagine that screen becomes a focal point for like teaching cues, like any classroom. Most teachers, like your maths English teachers, they've probably got some sort of projector screen to share stuff. So I think that phys ed can benefit as much, if not even maybe more, when they include things like a big screen in their practice, for sure.
One thing I've tried to do the last couple years is make really good notes to myself. And the way that I like do my curriculum and plan my lessons is I just have a Google Drive folder where I have my Google Docs, and it's like week 1, week 2, all the way down to week 38. And then I have the plan, but then, as I'm sure like many teachers out there, like, you have your plan, and then like you actually get the class in there and you get everybody set up, and you realize it's not going to work, so you have to like totally change the plan. And in the past, I would have not done a very good job going back and like refining those plans in my Google Drive, because it's like once you taught it, you don't really need to go back and do that. But then the next year, when you're like back in that same content, it's so helpful if you actually like take the time to go back, make the notes on what you did, and just think about your future self and how much you're going to appreciate it when you like print off that document next year and you realize all the things that you wrote down. So another thing about that is like putting the panoramic of my setup. Like I was saying, the Google Photos thing, like sometimes I'll drop that into the Google Doc, and then the next year when I have that page and it has like a picture of my gym, the exact setup, it's just so nice. I'm like, thanks last year, Ben Landers, appreciate that.
And there's other flow-on benefits too, like in case you had to leave some material for another teacher, you'd probably have access to something that you could use to give to them much quicker if you had to disappear for a week or so. It's not just in the immediate for you, but there's a lot of other reasons why that sort of approach would be useful.
And so seeing the power of like this podcast that you and me are going to spend, 30 minutes talking, and then you're going to spend some time, uploading it and all that. But then thousands and thousands of people could actually sit and listen to this. I mean, that's like sitting down and thinking about the power of the internet and how we can put information into the world is just incredible.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, I just am so fond of the internet for a medium. It's potential is great. It brings the cost of education down for many people to zero, and sometimes we take it for granted. I want to thank you for stopping by, Ben, and sharing some awesome insight into how tech fits into your class, but also we went a bit deeper than that on how you can sort of contribute to the phys ed world that we are all part of.
Man, it's been my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Speak soon, mate.
Will do.
Perfect. Thanks for that.
Right on, man. I don't know. I feel like I got off on that last question at the end of it. I was like, I don't know if I answered it at all, but oh well.
You did, man. You worked that beautifully into the site. So the future for you is absolutely like being invested in contributing to the global phys ed network. So that was a nice call to action for the end.
And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the behind the scenes. Make sure you check out the links below if you want to look into anything we talked about, and also make sure you check out Jared's website. It's a great resource for PE teachers. Hope you guys have an awesome day. Have fun and teach on. Later.